It just stopped me dead in my tracks. I just could not understand it. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it to this day.
Recently, a concerning clip of Diddy making comments about Brandy while appearing on a talk show in 1997 came to light. While the things he said might have seemed relatively innocent at the time, with everything we know about him now and all that he's been accused of, that's no longer the case.
You're legendary for the parties that you throw.
I'm a legend, baby, for a whole bunch of things.
Yes.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it.
Justin, right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy. Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose. I had legal guardianship of Usher when, he did his first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. And we gonna go buck full crazy.
Going crazy.
Crazy.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
See? The comments he made were seriously disturbing. But what exactly did he say? The clip in question is from a 1997 episode of The Rosie O'Donnell Show, which featured Diddy as a guest. On the show, Rosie brought up that Brandy had a crush on Diddy.
We had Brandy on the show?
Yeah.
You produced some stuff for her,
Yes,
right?
I produced some stuff for her.
Did you know she had such a crush on you? She said she could hardly look at you when you walked in the room. She had to take a nap.
I kind of figured there was a problem. Whenever I worked with her, she wouldn't let me be in the room when I worked with her. So a lot of people ask me, how was it to work with Brandy? And I say I wouldn't really know because she would never let me in the room when she would sing her vocals.
I like Sean Puffy Combs. I like his style a lot.
Isn't he good, the Puff Daddy?
He's really good.
You ever work with him?
Yes, I worked with him, and he can't even be in the studio because I'm so starstruck and nervous to sing in front of him.
Are you kidding?
Yes, I'm serious.
But he produced part of your new record?
No, he's going to produce a couple of songs when he gets off his tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you met him before?
Yeah, I've met him. I met him, he comes in and out of the studio. He doesn't even stay in there.
Now, are you always starstruck by people?
Brandy is a music superstar in her own right and has sold multiple millions of records throughout her career.
She goes by one name, Brandy. At 15, she was a top recording artist, a sitcom star, and a cover girl. Then she dropped out of sight. As is often the case with such a meteoric rise, Brandy took a dramatic fall. The victim, some say, of a stage mother who had mortgaged her daughter's childhood. Tonight, Brandy and her mother tell their story to Juju Chang. You can have it all, but sooner or later, something's got to give.
This is Brandy's first public appearance in 2 years after her storybook life took a cruel turn. Her career began in 1994.
Work. Hey, what's up?
Her work involved more than singing. She was acting, too.
Why do you guys always treat me like I'm a kid?
Moesha was a perfectionist to a fault, and so was the young girl who played her.
I do my chores, I'm not on drugs, I'm not pregnant, and I watch my cholesterol.
The show premiered in 1996 and stayed #1 in black households for 5 years. William Allen Young played her father.
Brandy was the money. That means that she was in practically every scene. She also took on a producing role on the show.
It was a crushing schedule.
felt like everybody needed a piece of me, but I was willing to give because I wanted it too. This was my dream. This is what I, worked for.
Her mother, Sonia Norwood, managed Brandy's career from the beginning and was labeled by the tabloids as domineering for controlling Brandy's money and dictating her love life. So is she a pushy stage mom?
Oh, no, even though I've been called that early on in my career, but no, that was
pushy.
I'm a pushy stage mother.
Even their playful banter reveals the tension in this complicated mother-daughter relationship.
My mom so wants to be a star, it's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
She so wants to be a star.
You need to take that back.
Mom, you know you want to be a star. Come on. You're cute.
During her teens, Brandy says there were times she just wanted to be a kid, go to the movies or the amusement park. But her mother had to make her fulfill contractual obligations instead.
Sometimes I just wanted her to listen to my problems.
Stop being my manager.
Please.
And just be my mother for a second.
Yes. It was just like, oh, here we go again, another day with the manager.
Here's Brandy. Imagine being touted as one of the most beautiful people.
Amazing things have a way of happening at the Video Music Awards.
But on the day of the MTV Awards, Brandy sat down with us and confessed she always felt unattractive.
In school, I wasn't like the pretty girl. I wasn't cool, so some of the most beautiful people in the world have the lowest self-esteem. And that's when you know it's not about the outside, it's all about the inside. And I learned that the hard way.
Rosie added that Brandy said that she could hardly look at Diddy and would have to take a nap every time he walked into the room. In response to her bringing up this crush, Diddy laughed and said that he figured that there was some sort of issue between the pair while they were working in the studio together. He then added that every time he worked with her and produced for her, she'd never let him in the room while she was doing her vocals. In fact, he added that he really didn't know what it was like to work with her due to how much distance she kept between them. Knowing what we know now about Diddy, it's likely for the better that she kept her distance.
Because, there is a shyness to me, and so I've been trying to hide that, but I really want to start to engage a lot more with all of you. I think it would be so great for us to get to know each other a little bit more.
Also, at the time, Brandy was only 18 years old, while Diddy himself was 28 years old. While the pair worked together on music, their worlds also became intertwined in another way, and you won't believe the reason behind it. In the late 1990s, Brandy was dating rapper Mace, who was signed to Diddy's record label, Bad Boy Records. Like Brandy, Mace was a successful artist with plenty of record sales under his belt and a lot of fame. However, Mace wasn't the only person she was involved with at the time. Brandy was allegedly involved in a love triangle with Mace and another rapper named Shyne. Shyne was a new addition to the Bad Boy record label in the late 1990s, and he revealed information about the relationship during an interview on The Breakfast Club.
Was also seeing Mace. She's selling millions of records. She had like the biggest record that year. And
Brandy.
And she said,
she's not but now you know.
Listen, the documentary is in the documentary.
Okay.
It's in the documentary. Carl Kent says who it is. God bless his soul. And we had an argument. And she said, yo, you're nobody.
She said that to you?
Yes.
Damn.
You're nobody. You ain't sell one record. You think you styling, you think you're that, you're nothing. You haven't sold a record. And that hit me like the hand of God. Just, slapped me back into reality because she was telling the truth. Like I wasn't there to date, R&B divas and pop divas and, look fly. I was there to make hit records. And I wasn't doing that.
In the interview, Shyne said that his ego got the best of him once he signed with Bad Boy, and he began dating a woman who was already dating Mace.
So the rumor that you were forced to sign with Bad Boy wasn't true. That was on your decision.
I'll tell you, I was in St. Regis Hotel.
Gotcha.
Listen, everybody wanted to sign me. I left Puff's mansion. Def Jam put me in a Peninsula Hotel, and I was there. We got on the plane, flew back into St. Regis for a couple weeks, waiting for the deal to sign. I remember going to John McNally, like every week to whatever I wanted, tens of thousands of dollars every week, waiting to sign the deal. Kobe was on the bench when he came into the league, right? People don't talk about that. And Kobe had Phil Jackson, you know, and that's how Kobe became Kobe. So for me, I wasn't ready to be, you know, a coach player. And something instinctively in me told me that. I wouldn't have gotten that tutelage at Def Jam, in my opinion. And again, say what you want about...
While he didn't mention Brandy by name, the host assumed that it was her, which led to a laugh by Shyne. He also said that she was selling millions of records at the time, which lines up with what Brandy was doing around then.
Thanks to the #1 singles, I Wanna Be Down and Baby, Brandy went quadruple platinum.
For people to want my autograph and recognize me, it was a great experience. I was like, wow, this is really happening.
To find out that she was only 14 years old and sounded like she was 24, I was like, this is crazy.
As you can imagine, this situation led to problems and forced the Bad Boy team to have a family meeting to discuss what was happening. Apparently, Diddy himself wasn't very happy with what was going on and actually confronted Shyne directly about his actions. While there's no confirmation that Diddy himself was romantically involved with Brandy in any way, there are plenty of people who think that's the case. Diddy could have certainly been standing up for Mace at the time, but it's also possible that he was jealous of Shyne or protective over Brandy. But while Diddy might have stood up for Mace all those years ago, the two went on to beef with one another later in life.
Let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life.
In a post he made on Instagram, Mace accused Diddy of withholding his publishing rights and royalties. In the post made in 2021, he said that Diddy had been holding on to his publishing rights for over 2 decades, and that he would never want to work with Diddy again. He also claimed that Diddy was robbing him and tarnishing his name because Mace didn't want to be a part of Diddy's business model, which he called horrendous.
We're gonna get to it. What did Puff do to piss you the f off? How did he do you dirty if he did you dirty? And what is doing dirty if a motherfucker put you on?
That's really good. Let me take my off. Now, I could say this because it's not something I didn't say to him. Puff, how do I want to say this? Me and Puff was like, I felt like I did more than I got credit for, more than I got paid for.
You felt, or did you do that? Because you said felt, like
okay,
feeling.
let's clear that up then.
You saying you feeling that?
No, we're gonna keep it with, because I'm trying to be nice. I never got paid what I was worth, and I never got the respect I was worth. So the disdain that I got for Puff is more like, you trying to keep me here, nigga. I'm not here. All my peers is up here. All my peers are bosses. When it's time, just like somebody raised somebody up, you know they did work with you, they go from your little man to maybe A&R to something else. He just kept trying to keep me right here, like he didn't want me to grow at anything. And to anybody, is that gonna bother you?
Yeah.
Especially Absolutely. If I'm producing the work. Yeah. Puff would go out and party, and I would be in the studio writing the records, and then I just come back and say, he'll say this is his part or that is his part, but I was the person there creating it all.
Right.
And then, I mean, from the lyrical standpoint, where somebody did a beats, and even More Money, More Problems, I came up with that. I came up with the beat too. And I said, Stevie, we need to do this beat and do it like this. So just imagine all of these moments that are taken from you, the records, the beats. You ain't getting the money, you ain't getting the publishing, you ain't getting the respect. And I don't think you're like that.
No.
So that became really frustrating for me because I'm
You say
looking.
you don't think you like that? What that mean?
I don't think you would like that.
Like,
if a motherfucker did you like that, what
Yeah,
the fucking
like-
story is you listening to?
And I don't think you like that to be pulling what you pulling.
Yeah, you from the ghetto. You like
Yeah, like you know what would come with doing that, but everybody is letting you get away with it. Everybody.
Soon after, the beef continued to grow as Diddy hit back during an interview on The Breakfast Club in 2022.
You know, just in general, the Mace thing, I did one album with Mace. One album. How much money do you think I owe this guy? One album? And then he became a fake pastor and went and conned people? And then y'all gonna let him throw dirt on the God's name? I wrote each and every one, and each and everybody, and anybody could come and step up. Bring your receipts. But I'm not playing. I'm back outside and I'm fighting back for us. And I'm also do a little fighting back for me.
In the interview, Diddy said that Mace owed him $3 million and that he was able to prove it, but he also added that he didn't want to go back and forth with Mace. However, Mace denied the claims that he owed Diddy any money.
Yo, how dare this nigga told me he want receipts? Let's start with your mother. Your mother got the receipts. Everything is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipts. You need more proof? Biggie ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He dead. Craig Mack can't give you receipts. He dead. What are you talking about? Who else? Black Rob can't give you receipts. He dead. And everybody else you made sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about. I'm the only one with the guts. And I sign it. Cause I ain't need the money. All money ain't good money. Remember that. Remember that. Remember that. You know who to play with, nigga.
Eventually, in 2023, Diddy gave Mace and other bad boy artists their publishing rights back. He also said that everything was good between the pair and that they were like brothers. And sometimes brothers fight with one another. But while Diddy said that the beef was squashed, that may not be entirely true.
How much money does somebody like a Mace owe you? Because the reason I
Mace
say that,
owes me $3 million. That's facts. I got the receipt.
On an episode of his podcast with Cameron that was recorded soon after Diddy's arrest, Mace had an interesting wardrobe choice. He decided to wear a suit with an orange tie, which many believe was a subtle reference to Diddy being arrested, as many prison jumpsuits share the same color. Similarly, Diddy and Shyne have also had their fair share of issues with one another over the years. The issues stemmed from when the pair were involved in an altercation at a nightclub in 1999 where a firearm was used.
Former NYPD detective Derek Parker responded to the scene that night. I spoke with him in May.
There was a dispute between an individual inside the establishment. Shots were fired. Shyne ran out with the gun in his waist. The cops caught him. Diddy, J-Lo, and Wolf ran. They got to the corner of 8th Avenue, jumped in a car, and went about 2 blocks before they were apprehended.
You were on track to be a star in the business. Yeah. And yet you were at a nightclub and you felt the need to carry a gun.
I had a weapon to defend myself. As a 19-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid from the streets, you only know to handle things and defend yourself on your own because there's a mistrust of law enforcement.
Do you regret that night?
I am always remorseful that anyone got hurt, even if it wasn't for my gun, because according to the victims, it was Diddy that shot them. But I don't regret defending myself, because I wouldn't be here.
On Sunday evening, I went to Club New York, and under no circumstances whatsoever did I have anything to do with a shooting.
Combs was charged with gun possession and for bribing his driver to take ownership of his weapon. He was later acquitted. J-Lo was never charged. Meanwhile, Shyne was found guilty, convicted on multiple assault charges, reckless endangerment, and criminal possession of a weapon. He served nearly 9 years in prison.
Shyne had admitted to using a firearm, but said that he was only firing into the air, not at anyone. While a witness said that she had seen Diddy using a firearm, he was eventually found not guilty on all charges.
After 3 days of deliberations, the jury now appears to be focusing on the gun possession and bribery charges against Sean Puffy Combs. This afternoon, jurors sent the judge 2 notes, one of which asked for a transcript of a phone message Combs left Wardell Fenderson, once his driver, now the prosecution's star witness. During the trial, Fenderson testified that Combs was armed the night of the shooting at Club New York, and later pressured him to claim ownership of a pistol police found when they pulled over Combs' Lincoln Navigator as it fled the shooting.
And I just want to make you feel like comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Make your family feel comfortable.
What exactly Combs meant by that is in dispute, but the prosecution claims the rapper offered Fenderson $50,000 or a diamond ring to take the rap for the gun. The jurors also wanted to hear a readback of testimony relating to Combs' former girlfriend, actress-singer Jennifer Lopez, who was in the Navigator when it was stopped by police.
However, Shyne wasn't as lucky. He ended up being convicted on his charges and served nearly a decade in prison, from 2001 to 2009. Many years later, in 2024, Shyne spoke publicly about the situation.
I was absolutely set up to be the fall guy.
The self-proclaimed fall guy now speaking out in his own words. Almost 25 years since that infamous nightclub shooting during a night out with Sean Diddy Combs and his then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez. 3 people were injured that night.
There's a narrative that still exists that you knowingly took the fall for Sean Combs.
Taking the fall means not snitching, not getting your friends in trouble. Even today, I wouldn't want to do anything to get anyone in trouble.
So did anyone come to you and say, hey man, we need you to take this hit for Diddy?
No, I did that out of honor and integrity.
Sean Combs' representatives telling ABC News this evening in part, Mr. Combs categorically denies Mr. Barrow's allegations, including any suggestion that he orchestrated Mr. Barrow to take the fall or sacrificed him, adding that Mr. Combs was acquitted of all charges. Moses Shyne Barrow, known to hip-hop fans worldwide simply as Shyne.
Now tell me who wanna with us. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, I'm bang.
A rising star in the late 90s rap game.
Number 8 on jams right now.
His spotlight ultimately dimmed after being sent to prison for the 1999 shooting that almost brought down now disgraced Bad Boy Records founder and Shyne mentor, Diddy.
I do not own a gun, nor did I possess a gun that night.
But after almost a decade in prison and years of reinvention, the Grammy Award winner says he's shining brighter than ever before.
I'm 46 years old, so I've been humbled by life. There was a time where people wanted to tell the victim story. People wanted to tell the, I hate Diddy story, or I hate this person's story, or everyone's to blame for where I'm at in life story.
During a press conference, he stated that he was the fall guy who unfairly went to prison for what took place, and that Diddy had destroyed his life. In fact, Shyne said that Diddy actually went out and got witnesses to testify against him in his 2001 trial, and that was one of the reasons he was sent to prison.
He said he's maintained that he shot the person who was aiming a gun at him, who was threatening his life. And he's also said that, he actually knew the guy. I think his name was Michael Allen, nicknamed Scar. People knew him on the street. And when you make threats like the ones that he was facing, he knew that the guy wasn't playing. He carried those out. So he said that he was defending himself. And I think he's always maintained that he never shot the, 3 victims? He's always said that. So if he says he's the fall guy, I understand why he would say that.
Shyne says his political enemies and detractors try to make him into a criminal, but everyone knew that he was the young kid who took the fall. He said everyone knew that was the story and that he maintained his innocence the whole time, adding that during the shooting he defended himself. Shyne didn't directly point the finger at Diddy being the shooter, saying he didn't want to get into who did what, but said the victim is telling you who did what and says there were other witnesses. Shyne said he didn't shoot anyone and there were other guns. Echoing what Natanya Rubin said, Shyne explained that bullet fragments were never removed, so there was never forensic testing to say who it was. He said the victims are vindicating him, but added he's trying to move on and not relive the incident and his subsequent conviction. Shyne told the reporters he's appreciative of whatever contributions Diddy has made to help the people of Belize. He said he wished him well and will pray for him and the alleged victims. He added if it's true, may justice be served, but if it's not, it's a tragedy because a global icon would be destroyed. This isn't the first time Shyne has spoken out on the nightclub shooting. In a 2022 episode of Drink Champs, Shyne said that he didn't blame Diddy for the conviction as much as he did in the past, and said he went through a stage of bitterness seemingly directed at his former mentor. He explained at the time in retrospect, he blamed the conviction more on the lawyers who were advising Diddy. During the trial, Diddy's legal team was composed of high-profile lawyers, including Johnny Cochran, who famously worked on the O.J. Simpson case. Shyne added Diddy's lawyers were there to secure a not guilty verdict by any means. During Shyne's trial, Diddy's high-profile lawyers did not work on his then-protege's case. During that 2022 episode of Drink Champs, Shyne said Diddy was a $100 million corporation at the time, and his team looked at Shyne as the enemy. He explained that both of them were about to lose everything, but added he didn't have much, and Diddy is a musician with an empire. Shyne said when your lawyers are misleading and misguiding you, that's how everything fell apart. Shyne said Diddy apologized and told him he shouldn't have listened to his lawyers, and Shyne forgave him.
But even though he spent many years in prison, Shyne turned his life around, and you'll never believe what he's doing now.
After serving 9 years in prison, Shyne was released from prison in 2009 and subsequently deported to Belize for being a non-citizen felon. In 2010, he moved to Jerusalem, where he changed his name to Moses Michael Levi. 3 years later, Shyne returned to Belize and later began his political endeavors.
Despite starting his career as a rapper, Shyne, whose real name is Moses Barrow, is now a politician in Belize, the country he was born in. Not only that, but he's the leader of the Belize United Democratic Party, which is one of the two major political parties in the country.
Almost 22 years after that life-changing night, welcome to the show, the 13th opposition leader of the Belize House of Representatives, the Honorable Moses Shyne Barrow.
As for Brandy, she's moved on and continued to sell hit records throughout the 2000s and beyond. Her music and work have also influenced a number of the biggest artists on the planet today, including Ariana Grande, Rihanna, and several others.
What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it. All I'm asking is for a little reason.
After dating Mace, she dated producer Robert Smith, NBA player Quentin Richardson, rapper Flo Rida, and music executive Ryan Press.
You need different things.
Definitely.
And you've got a hot guy in Quentin Richardson, right, for the LA Clippers, really wonderful basketball player.
Yeah.
And how is this relationship different?
It's different because it's effortless, and I'm really in love with him.
Maybe you'll bring them some luck this year.
Yeah.
You know? They struggle a little bit, but
He doesn't need luck. The team needs luck, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
In addition to being a music superstar, she's also an accomplished actress who appeared in dozens of TV shows, reality TV programs, and movies over the years. In fact, a big part of the reason for her fame initially was her role in the sitcom Moesha, and when she played the lead character in the 1997 TV movie version of Cinderella. Her role as Cinderella was especially significant in the history of the television and film industry, as she was the first ever African-American actress to play Cinderella on screen.
Just keep building up impossible hopes, impossible things are happening every day.
Throughout her career, she's also been a model, a songwriter, and even a dancer. She also recently revealed that she'll be releasing a memoir in October 2025, and it'll share her full life story. While plenty of people have come forward with accusations against Diddy, Brandy hasn't accused him of anything as of right now. But what do you guys think about all this? What do you think about this entire situation between Brandy, Diddy, Mace, and Shyne, and the resurfaced video clip from back in 1997? Why do you think Brandy blocked Diddy from entering the room while she was singing her vocals? Do you think she had a bad feeling about him and wanted to keep her distance? Or did she simply prefer to sing and record her vocals without anyone else present? Or did it all have to do with her crush on him? Either way, let me know your thoughts in a comment below.